that. Beauty. We installed this pump just about less than 6 months, well, 9 months ago, and it's burned out already. So we came and replaced the pump, and it's still not pumping. So we have spent about 3 hours locating the lines, trying to find the place that the pump is pumping to, and couldn't find it. But the pump works. There is a check valve in there. It's working. The pump is pumping up to beyond that little shed. You can see where I've dug some holes up there. So we run a camera and followed it as far as our line would go. We found the line here. We dug this up. And now we're going to insert the camera again, or the locating device. We're going to insert it, pump is that way. We're going to insert the line that way to see if we can figure out where that's pumping to and what is blocking. All right, down there is the pump station. This is the place we marked our first piece to the pipe. And we continued on this way and got it up to right there, and the line that we're using to feed down the pipe won't go any farther. It's at that spot where the excavator is, so we're going to dig that spot, look about 4 feet deep, see if we can find that pipe. Maybe there's a clog there, or maybe it continues on farther, but we can't push our tool through the pipe anymore, so I feel like there's something blocking it, so this might be the spot. That one broken. That was the last spot there. There's the pump. Just 30 feet. Try this again. All right, I need to dig it. We have dug holes all through this yard, tracing this pipe. And there's a big old tree. Finally, there's the D-box. Okay. That thing is completely filled with roots. Yeah, you got a.
I got a little mini one.
Oh, that might be perfect. That line's completely blocked there.
All of them.
Whenever we're on a job, there's a lot of trial and error. We try one thing, and then we get to that point and we have to try something else, or we discover something else that has to be done. This one has taken a lot of time. We're back for a second day. The first day we spent an enormous time just trying to locate the D-box. Unfortunately, we didn't have a good locating device, so we used what we had, but we wound up digging, oh my gosh, a bunch of holes in this guy's yard. So the pump is new. It is working fine. We just replaced it just less than a week ago, but it was not pumping effluent out. So we had to find the place where it was pumping to, and that's what took forever. There are 3 drain field lines, which we fairly easily identified. There's one, and we've removed a bunch of the flags. The second one is here, and the third one, the trench is between those 2 flags coming right toward me. And there is a permit that shows a description of how the layout of the septic field is. It shows that it pumps to a box, which is a distribution box, and that box is located somewhere near the property line, which is where that sign is. And then it feeds down to the other 3 lines, but we could not locate that D box. So the only way we could find it is by either working backwards through the field lines or working from the tank and the supply line itself. Again, the flags are mostly removed, but essentially there's 2 flags out there, and the line runs from there towards me. So we followed the lines to this area, to the end of that's the first line. We followed that first top line to the end, and ended right about here. Usually there's a distribution box located at the top of that line. We even found some discarded PVC material, but we didn't find the D box. The D box was just 3 feet away, but we dug a giant hole and couldn't locate it. So we had to follow the supply line from all the way down there, and as soon as we'd hit a spot, we'd have to dig that to make sure we're on the supply line and follow. Each of these holes represent a place we dug the supply line, because our feed wouldn't go any farther. We would uncover the line and confirm it was there. This was the 3rd hole we dug in the chain, and we missed. I may have showed these before, but the supply line, there it is. And following a straight line, we tried to cheat a little bit and follow that straight line. Looked like it would hit there, but it didn't. There was a slight curvature in the line. So this is the 4th hole that we dug following the line, and you can see it here where we've cut it and run our device up through the line. And it looks like it should have been right there where we dug, but it was slightly to the left. It must be a turn in it. So we dug this giant hole and missed, but the distribution box was just to the left. So we've uncovered it, and it was full of roots. So now the plan is to try to remove the roots from the distribution box so we can get this guy running again. These maps sometimes aren't the best, but this one actually is fairly good for some that I've seen. Shows the house here and the septic tank and the pump tank. This is the supply line right next to the property line. That is the shed located right here, which, to give you a frame of reference, follows those holes that we dug. And that is the distribution box we were looking for that we finally found. Unclear if there's more boxes here. Sometimes there's distribution boxes located at the heads of all of these lines, but we're going to see if we can clear all the roots out of this box through that line. There's also roots into the supply line, which we're going to have to clear. Once we clear all the roots, we'll need to reconnect these pipes in the places that we cut them, which right now is 4, and we'll have to cut another place as well, reconnect all those, and then test the system to make sure that it is working. So this is the distribution box or splash box, and there is only one box. Often there's more. There's one box to slow the water down, a splash box, and then it will go to a distribution box. This one appears to only have one. This is where the water's coming in, and then there's two lines it's going to. That's not quite what the diagram shows. The diagram shows just one place that it feeds here, but you can see how the things are completely clogged with roots, and that one is too. So we're going to dig this spot here, this spot here, this spot here, and see if we can figure out how to get rid of those roots. Good news is, we hope, all the lines are in places where there's no trees. And the trees, this is right next to one, obviously, but the whole side of the yard is full of trees, so we're hoping the roots came from this direction and aren't too significant. It's quite possible the roots have completely destroyed the system. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize roots are a problem here. You see all the roots from everywhere we dug, just everywhere. It starts as PVC leaving the distribution box, and you can see just below the surface there, that's that black corrugated pipe for the line. So no telling where the roots got in, but we can probably cut this anywhere and start investigating. I don't like to tear anything up, but I did nick the line here, but I was going to tear it up anyway. But that's good because there's no roots right here, and I'm 2.5 feet from the box, which is great. So hopefully we just cut this thing here, pull the roots off, and then reconnect this one. Okay, we got one of these exposed to the point where we could probably cut that and do some work on it. I had to bury this hole that I had over here where my excavator is so I could work. So we're gonna do the same thing to this line that we did to this one. So we're gonna now dig all that out. I got the PVC going to about right here, just like the other one. Look at that. Beauty. All right, we got one clear. Oh yeah. All right, we're getting some of the connections made back to these pipes. He's working on the last one there, filling in some holes that were dug that we didn't need. We initially thought the backflow valve was bad, so we cut the pipe right before the backflow valve there. But there's not enough room to get in there and attach it, and so we're gonna have to pull the whole thing out. So I've got to dig it up and pull it out from here. While I'm digging, come across another water line I almost pulled up, going right across where I need to be. Just add to the work. I've had some herbicide powder into the distribution box, so when it goes through, if there's any more roots further downstream, it'll help kill those roots once we turn the pump on. All right, All right, first test. There it goes. Yes. Not leaking. It's coming through. Pump is running. Line is clear. Working like a charm.